Alrighty, today the patriarchy. I've only recently, in the last year or so, heard of this facade. Okay, the patriarchy. It's apparently, basically, it's only feminist and whinging women that seem to believe in this or even heard of it. Okay, there are definitely levels of government and different levels of control that are perceived, and there's like 20 of them. So if you haven't seen all of them and if you haven't seen through them and accepted them, well, then you're held prisoner by it. Simple. How can you accept and get to a solution if you don't know the cause and fix it? Same for anything. So let's have a look where it's coming from in the body, because it's external. And if it's external, we're not able to control or change it that much. So why bother? And when we are the most powerful beings on the planet, every single individual, should they choose to raise their vibration to that level, then how can some dude in a suit in an office make decisions to control me? Yeah, it's weak. And I can tell you, because this guy, like, government means govern, control, ment is Latin for mind. So who can control my mind? Obviously, the individual is not in control of their own mind. So they have to work to get there. They have to fix this and fix up their body and their digestion, because if they haven't fixed their digestion, well, they're completely useless people who cannot think anyway. And then unable to perceive, because if they've got thousands of creatures and gunk and stuff in the gut, then the nervous system comes here and goes, there's no clarity, there's no thought, there's no quality perception there. And this is plus, if a person has got bucket loads of mucus down in their hips and they have got no nervous system connection down to that part of the body, then the brain cannot even have any clue of comprehending what's actually there. It's just how the body works. So we need to expand our nervous system to get there, clean it out, fix it up, get more connectivity going, and then you'll see through the illusion of different levels of government. You'll notice that people who work for the government, they're very slow. Okay, we have to do it like this in a process. They're unable to think creatively. That's why they're completely reliant upon their mind control system. Cool. So, establish that. Fantastic. Let's get it back in the body so we can fix it and expand and be quality human souls. Cool. So, oh, by the way, anytime anyone says, not my fault, oh, it's them, well, guess what? They're coming from a 5-year-old in a child place. There's no power in that. There's no feminine empowerment. And we want super powerful, sexy beings, especially the goddesses, on our planet, because they are the ones that can do amazing things. But, like, you have to do the work. Simple. You don't get a result unless you put the effort in. And as Yogi Bhajan says, the goddesses here are 16 times more powerful than any man on the planet. Yep. Heart-driven. Look at the size of the there's nipples here, there's more nervous system connectivity, there's more sensitivity there. So, therefore, more power available should it be connected. And also, 16 times more powerful here. 16 times 16. A lot. That is incredibly, infinitely more powerful than any man on the planet. Really. It totally is. You have to connect it. You've got to do the work. There's no getting around it. And anyone who says, not my fault, well, first of all, not is a false illusion. The body doesn't understand negative emotions or negative words. That means they're coming from their lower half of their body. And if someone hasn't even got to a stage where they've got to their base chakra, their safety and security, to improve themselves and elevate their vibration, they're coming from the bottom part of their body. Guess what? 16 times more powerful, but also 16 times less, and 16 times more evil. Yeah. And we know the sacral connects to the heart in the nervous system. So, if there's evil gunk here, and that means anyone with mucus, and it's not fat, there's no such thing as fat, it's a myth created by mucus and fungus, the amount of heavy metals, critters and creatures and density in there is quite astounding. It's taken me 5 years to, well, I'm actually 7 years to get there properly, and I'm now finding there's some pretty yucky stuff there. Because heavy metals and heavy things dense here. So if we don't have pumping kidneys, so the sign for weak kidneys, you're scared of everything, you say no to everything. Yeah. And the kidneys have to bring up everything from the bottom half of the body. So we need them pumping. And let's have a look at the patriarchy a bit more, and where is that perception coming from? So, obviously, it's male, and people seem to think that it's controlling them, or they're externalizing and whinging and complaining. It's not going to help at all. So, it's masculine, so therefore it's the masculine right side of the nervous system. Here it's liver and gallbladder. And you'll notice that when people go into their whinging at the masculine thing because they're weak themselves, anybody who does that, they're always coming from their liver and gallbladder on the right side. And after 30 liver and gallbladder flashes, I used to be a real angry prick. Now, not so much. Now you have clarity because my nervous system is getting there, and it has immune system power to get to the brain to tell me not to go and run 100 kilometers, right? It's so much easier. And instead of yelling at people telling them they're stupid, which they are until you get up to the perception of the third eye, at least, then we can start to become more complete. And anytime that we lose our staff, well, obviously we're not feeling centered, so we're out on the side, and we're insecure. So, to connect the base with the liver, well, that's the portal vein system. Oh, funny that. Clean it out. Coffee enemas are remarkable for these things. Seems pretty simple, right? It is when you have clarity. It requires ridiculous levels of spiritual development and a lot of effort. But it's easy enough to do if you know how. And of course, the other thing is, here on the liver and gallbladder, hey, we've all got bits, and apparently people call love handles, and I'm trying to funk them up as much as I can. But you'll see, especially for pitta people, we've got moles here and moles here. So moles are essentially trapped fungus in the dermis layer. And you'll see that that's the right side liver and gallbladder meridian, and that's the spleen. So we're not nurturing our feminine, so we get angry at the masculine. And that's how many times does it happen in relationships? We're storytelling. It's ridiculous, really. So what tends to happen is, hey, well, people still lose their shit, don't they? And act like an emotional 5-year-old. So what's happening when that's going on is, so you'll notice that people don't just go, they're talking about one discussion on, and they'll go make up other things. If a man or anyone has ever said, what are you talking about? You're delusional, you're making up stories? Correct, because the masculine is consciousness. So we're the ones who are telling you what you're actually doing because you can't think for yourself. Or you're messed up and uncentered and don't have a clue what your own mind is, and you can't control your own mind, because there's very few people who can do that. It requires up here a lot of discipline and control, and cleansing and herbalism required, and spinal alignment adjustments. So, story building and storytelling. You'll notice that obviously the person is insecure, so they've got a lot of crap in their coccyx, or their base chakra. So you don't lose your shit if you're feeling safe and secure, do you? Simple. And then, if the person makes up, sexuality stories or gender issues, and then they go into their mind, into the solar plexus, and they'll make up all this, daddy doesn't like me, mum doesn't, I'm sad at my mum, I'm angry at my dad, all in one discussion and argument. So essentially, and because most people's subconscious mind in their body is trying to get down here to get rid of the gunk there. So they'll get stories or reflections or images, and people think they're psychic and visions. No, it's just your body trying to tell you to fix it. But you can't interpret it because you haven't got up here to see the cause. So people are screwed, right? That's the position they seem to be putting themselves in. And unless we take full responsibility for that, then you're not going to be able to get to the cause and fix it. Usually it requires surrendering the ego and asking someone else how to do it, because you don't know. You're just screwed up. Because the cause comes on the 6th dimension with the third eye awakened, and the mind just makes up stories based on all the garbage in the solar plexus. And let's face it, in an incredibly sick Western culture where we don't even teach gut health in universities, and generally naturopaths are quite bloated, and therefore very, very toxic. In fact, a lot of them don't even know how to detox at all. Then, well, you're kind of screwed. But yeah, you need to find someone who knows what they're doing, and there's very few of those. It seems you got to study ancient wisdom from an Eastern perspective to really have any understanding of it, in my experience. So the story building comes up, goes, I don't like the masculine, I can't control myself, someone else is in control of me, which is essentially very weak and not very powerful. And we want very powerful beings. But what is in the liver? And you can see, if you can see here, like I've got a line across the liver here. That's the liver spot on the Ayurvedic facial analysis. So I've got fungus across my liver, so I'm not quite seeing, I'm angry at the Western world and making up stories about society. It's my stuff, I've just got to fix it. It just takes a while. It's not easy. And so then the thought patterns, the subconscious thought patterns, go through that entire liver meridian and liver and gallbladder meridian line. And there's a lot of fungus there. So there's like a network of, it's like a matrix on both sides of the body in the love handle area in particular, but also that from there everywhere down along that line. And most people are growing that constantly. If you don't have antifungal herbs and right diets and cleansing and nutrition and everything, then most people are making this fungal network worse. And the way you can, a good way to understand that is if we have the fungal network up here in the brain. So if anyone's got moles and dark spots up in their face and up their head, their brain is entirely controlled by their fungus. Yeah, it's sucks. And that's why they haven't got that top bit awakened. That's why you see bald men with that exact patch around the crown. And if someone's bald and they've got a massive crown deficiency, they can't maintain their own hair, they're not very good at running their own body, so therefore their subconscious mind is completely in control by the system, the matrix. Yeah. And so what we want to do is, you might have heard, I might do that in another, so I'll do that in another video. So as you can see, liver and gallbladder, fix it. Instead of whinging and sooking about every man on the planet, which is just your own liver and gallbladder toxicity, you're making up stories about your dad and your previous partners and boyfriends and brothers and all this sort of stuff, where they're just there to help you, if you ask. That would be called surrendering the ego, wouldn't it? Surrendering the mind. Give it a go. Ask as someone that a guy that you trust, and you watch. He'll help you immediately to his highest capability every time, as long as you approach it comfortably, without emotion and without making up big stories, because that's the fastest way to lose respect, really. Oh, that's another video. Cool. So, patriarchy. Does it exist? Yeah, in people's minds, but in reality, no.